It looks like winter is behind us now and spring is definitely here. I'm in Southern California, Zone 10. It's a little overcast today, but that's pretty normal for us. And I would like to take you guys on this little journey of turning this balcony into an absolute oasis. Hi, I'm Sonia with Suburban Gardening, and I am standing on one of two balconies that we have in our home. I'm a little embarrassed to show them to you because they're kind of a wreck, but I do have an excuse. Our balconies do not have any covering over them, so they are completely exposed to the weather all year long. Every spring we have to come out and kind of redo everything, but this year was particularly rainy and we have a lot of algae and mold issues out here. But let me show you around a little bit. This is actually a 12 by 7 space. It's a perfect size for a little outdoor room. And my husband and I love to sit out here, watch sunsets, de-escalate after a really busy day, and just maybe read a book out here. So we're going to be doing quite a few different things. I'm going to be putting a canopy over so it keeps our furniture dry and it keeps our head from being exposed. And we're going to be just completely taking everything out, scrubbing it up, and putting everything back in new. It's going to be gorgeous. This balcony faces northwest and it mostly gets shade during the daytime. So it's a delightful place to come in the heat of the day and just relax with a nice cool breeze. Let me show you around and show you what we're going to get rid of and how we're going to fix everything. Walking out onto the balcony, you can already see what a disaster it is. I love our little hummingbird feeder. We need to find a place to put that. This poor little plant, whatever was in there, did not make it. And everything is just looking terrible. The wood needs a little sanding and painting as well. I put these planters out here a couple years ago and they've served me pretty well. But what I have in here right now, those are fake plants. Not really proud to tell you guys that, but that's what that is. We have wonderful lights that we string all around in here. Now these have been here for quite a while and most of them don't work. So we need to take those off and put up something brand new and beautiful. Also, when you come over here, you can see things have fallen down. Everything's just falling apart. This blue pot doesn't fit with our theme, and so we're going to completely take that out. Now it serves a wonderful purpose and it holds this great bougainvillea plant that is actually struggling, so we're going to move the pot out of here and transplant that bougainvillea into a terracotta that will definitely go much better with our theme. That big pot will hold a lot of plants. We can put some lovely annuals in there for lots of color, and I think it's going to change everything. Now I am going to be adding quite a few plants up here just to bring that tropical feel. We do have furniture up here. It's gotten quite weathered, and so that is going to need to be addressed.
This view is generally clear, blue skies full of sunshine and the beautiful San Gabriel Mountains behind it. So this is what we are trying to capture. These trees are usually filled with birds singing and carrying on. So much fun to watch, and our view actually extends over to the Nether Hill.
I'm up here on the balcony and I'm just trying to get an idea of what colors I want to be using up here. And this is going to be a sunset balcony oasis. So I want to hold true with what the sunsets do in our area. My husband went through and he power washed this whole balcony. It looks so amazing. I highly recommend if you guys can borrow a power washer or rent one or something. It just changed everything up here. It looks beautiful. So this is the color palette that I'm going to be using. We get a lot of pinks in our sky in sunrises and sunsets. So that works out really great for me because I use a lot of pink in my garden. So I have some petunias that are just this nice blush of pink. They're not the real hot pink, but a nice blush of pink. And they're going to be able to do very well up here because they don't mind getting a little dried out sometimes. And they'll be able to handle the little bit of wind that comes through here too. So we're going to do a little bit of pink, but I also really like the yellow and I like these burnt orange colors. So our skies often, because of the pollution, unfortunately, that we have here, they get this really dark burnt orange look. So we're going to bring that in a little bit with the cushions. Now, we already have patio furniture up here, and this is one of the cushions. So we're bringing in some oranges, and I guess that's a green color, and some reds, which are perfect for a sunset. So that's going to work out really great. I already have tans up here. The wood is tan, the house is tan, the railing is tan. So tan is a nice neutral color where we can just put any color we want to up against it. And that brings me to the yellow. Very excited about the yellow. So I went to Glendora Nursery and they always have everything I could ever want there. And I picked up these wonderful marigolds. Now these aren't exactly yellow. They're sort of an orange yellow, which is going to be perfect, I think, up here. And they'll be able to handle it up here. Marigolds can really withstand a lot. I also had some calendula. The color of this calendula is just amazing. This plant will get quite large. It will probably be about 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet, and it will really bring in a lot of color up here. While I have it in my hand, just let me show you. I'm also going to be bringing in some terracotta. Now, right behind me back here, we replaced that big blue pot that was up here for one that looks terracotta. And I wanted to add some terracotta. We're going to be layering it a little bit, really to give it some depth and some interest. So I think this is going to look great. One thing that I really think looks great with terracotta is wicker. And I'm not going to be putting a lot of wicker up here. But I do want to incorporate this color of wicker because I think that it just looks great with any kind of plants. It kind of brings in a tropical feel, which sunsets, we always think of tropics. So I think something like this is going to just be perfect. These little flowers are not real, and I think they're going to go great up here too. They have a little blush pink to them, but they're creamy looking, and I think that's going to soften everything up a little bit too. And I set up these in patience just because I have an interesting setup on this balcony. A lot of it stays in the shade. I would say half in the shade, half in the sun. And they don't get sun all year long. So bringing in something like an impatient that can stand some shade is really going to help this garden stay beautiful, full of flowers for a longer part of the season. Now, one of the fun things that I really want to do, and I already showed you the pillow, we're going to be bringing in color with the pillow, but I also like to use textiles. I like to use fabrics to soften things and to bring in color. When we're sitting up here on the balcony watching the sunset, it can get a little bit chilly. So it'll be great to have a little blanket, something like that, where we can cover up, but it still adds to how beautiful the balcony is going to be. Another thing that I'm going to bring into the balcony that is not a plant, it's a bird feeder. Now, a good friend of ours gave us this beautiful bird feeder, and it mostly has red in it, but it does have some blues and a tiny little bit of green. And it'll be great fun to be sitting up here enjoying the outdoors and the beautiful view and see the hummingbirds come over and get a drink. One of the applications that I'm going to be using to put the plants in up here are pots that actually hang on the railing. Now they're a little different to plant than other pots where you just stick it in there and it's fine. These ones I'm going to do a little bit differently because I don't want them to get ruined. And I'm going to pot them up differently. So let me take you down to the garden and let's pot up these plants so we can set up this balcony. This beautiful geranium I am going to put up on the balcony. I just wanted to repot it into a bigger pot that looks terracotta. This is not terracotta, it's just plastic. But let me show you the little secret that I'm going to do and how to get some flowers up onto the balcony. I purchased these pots a while back for a completely different project. I was planting sunflowers and I wanted them to have nice deep pots where the roots can go way down inside, because that's what sunflowers really like. And I had a bunch of these left over, so I thought, what a great way to put them into my little cocoa planters. Now, this is a very interesting little setup. I'm pretty sure I picked this up at Lowe's, but it fits right over the railing on my balcony. Now, I don't know if they still have them or not. You could check them out. But I have every year gone up, replaced the cocoa liner, and put new plants in. And it just really doesn't work that great. It gets a lot of wind, so the soil dries out really quickly, and it just ruins the cocoa liner. So this year I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to use these pots, and I'm going to put them down inside. I think this is really going to work out great. Now, what I'm doing is a little different. So this is a little bit too tall. So what I'm going to do is I'm cutting off about 1.5 inches. That way, when I plant it and I put it down in here, you won't even be able to see anything but the plants. It'll be perfect. So let me go ahead and do a quick demonstration. Now, this is very nice potting soil, always the same kind that I use. And I put some time release fertilizer down in here. I'm also going to put a little bit of this continuous release. They're going to need a lot of food, and I'm just not going to be up there feeding them all the time. So I'm going to start them off right. When I looked at the tag for these miracles, it said that they would get 10 to 12 inches high and 10 inches wide. 10 inches wide is plenty big enough for them to be inside of one of these, because they're not that big. I think this is probably 15 inches wide. But if I put 2 plants in here, it'll be very large and very beautiful in not too long, probably a month or so. Just rough up the roots a little bit, and I'm going to stick them down here. Same application I do on every single thing I pot. And I'm stuffing a lot of soil down in there. I want those roots to have a lot of environment to live in. Be sure and leave a little bit of room at the top. Okay, it's almost like a little sack full of dirt. What I'm going to do here when I get these upstairs to the balcony is I'm going to put 1 petunia and 1 marigold, and they're going to fill this completely. A petunia gets at least 10 inches big, probably 15, and at least 10 inches tall. So I think that these are going to fill this basin and just cause big bursts of color all around the balcony. I'm going to go ahead and pot up all these plants, because as soon as I get these plants potted up, we will be able to put them up on the balcony and finish all of our design. But I did want to talk to you real quick about patio plants and balcony plants. I highly recommend you stuff your balconies and your patios with plants. This is a beautiful lavender plant. Smells amazing. And it would be great to put on a patio or a balcony. But keep something in mind. This will attract a lot of pollinators, and pollinators come in the form of bees, not just butterflies. So if you put this in a small space, like on the balcony that we're redoing, we could be getting a lot of bees up there. And when we're sitting around up there, I don't think we really want to deal with bees. Also on a patio, it might bring a lot of bees into the patio. Actually, I'm sure that it would. The lavender that I have on our property, it's beautiful, and it is always surrounded by bees, but I have it away from our sitting areas. So keep in mind the kind of plant that you're putting in there. Now, generally, marigolds are okay. They attract a few bees, but not too many. Petunias hardly ever attract any bees. I have seen the hummingbirds go over to them quite often. And a calendula or any daisy type of a plant, it should be perfectly okay. You might get a bee or two, but not very many. balcony makeover took about 3 days, and we did all sorts of stuff to clean it up. We power washed it. We got rid of that yucky old rug. We changed out a lot of the plants. I can't wait to show this to you. It's going to be gorgeous. Now, my husband and I can sit out here on the balcony, enjoy the birds, enjoy the view. It's going to be great. Come along. Let's take a look at how gorgeous this came out. Before we step out onto our beautiful new patio, I just wanted to mention that I often talk about what does your outside look like from your inside. So windowscapes are a really big deal. And this is what we see now when we look out our window. We see beautiful plants, a lovely rug, and everything all cleaned up and gorgeous. Down here on the right-hand side, there's a beautiful hydrangea plant there, and it is going to be beautiful in about 2 weeks. I think that our choice of flowers is going to be perfect up here. The petunias and the marigolds. And these are those planters that I've been holding on to that go over the railing. I sure hope you guys can find some of those. Geranium, and I tucked a few little white petunias in there. And I did a nice little plant arrangement here in an odd number, so it always looks a little more pleasing. Our hummingbird feeder has already gotten some customers. The hummingbirds are already checking it out. Our view is starting to get so much nicer today. The fog is rolling away. I put in another terracotta pot with a geranium in it. And I love this table. It's easy access to where we're sitting, and it's perfect if we want to have a snack up here, or we just need some place to put our drinks. I think tonight we're going to light the candles and turn the lights on. It'll be beautiful. The pot that we replaced for a terracotta just looks so much better now. I love the proximity of the seating and the table. It's just perfect. Tables do not always need to be in between. Now, I'd like to show you what we did. We put up an umbrella, and what this is called is a half umbrella. They're wonderful for an environment like this where you really can't have an entire umbrella, but it brings in exactly the right amount of cover. I'm so glad you guys could join me on this balcony makeover, our Sunset Oasis. It has been a joy for us. It took a couple of days, but we had some things that we really needed to clean up for the long haul. And I think it's just going to last like this all through the season and well into the holiday season. So I'm so looking forward to that. I think I might put a few holiday decorations up here when the time comes. I really hope this inspired you to do something at your house, maybe on a balcony or a sunroom, a patio perhaps. It's so great to go to the home improvement store and pick out some color swatches and watch the project all come together. I hope you'll subscribe because I've got one more balcony left to do. And if you enjoyed this, like this video as well. That way, a lot more people will be tuning in, and it'll be so much fun. We'll be growing a wonderful community. You guys, there's always so much to talk about in the garden. But that's all I have for today. So thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.